And welcome back. And we're moving into our second conversation for this beautiful morning, actually. We know that Belizeans will be flocking off to our neighboring Mexico for the Easter weekend. And we've got some Mexican tips to share with you. As a matter of fact, it's an important day in Mexico as well, and we'll be telling you more about that. We've got the folks in to tell you about it. As a matter of fact, in with us, we've got Quesnel Melendez, who is the ambassador of Mexico to Belize. We also have Dr. Marbella Michel Arias, who is administrative attache in charge of the consular section at the Embassy of Mexico in Belize, and Maria Fernanda Garrido Martin, diplomatic attaché in charge of economic affairs at the Embassy of Mexico to Belize. Good morning, welcome, bienvenido, buenos días. I think I said it correctly, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Muy buenos días. Muchas gracias. Thank you for inviting us today in this, as you mentioned, very special day for Mexicans, since we are today celebrating the one anniversary more of the birth of former President Benito Juarez, who was a very important president in the 19th century. As a matter of fact, he was the first indigenous president, and he fought for indigenous rights, and he represented the liberal wing at that time, and I think he was a very important figure, political figure in the 19th century that also helped to model Mexico as a modern nation. And for those who don't know, maybe you know this note, and this is a 20 pesos note, which is a good luck note, but the picture of Benito Juarez is here, so that when you go to Mexico now, you know that this is President Benito Juarez. So last Monday was a day off in Mexico because of this celebration. Okay. And well, today in all the schools, in all the public places, celebrations are going on because of Benito Juarez's memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So that's what's happening in Mexico today. Now,
That's right.
we're grateful that you're here, obviously, because one of the things we are aware of that starting next Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, Belizeans will be flocking over the border en masse. And there are many things that we can help to educate them on beforehand, and so that's really what we want to be able to discuss today. One of the first things we can talk about is perhaps visas and where it is necessary, where people can get them. Let's use that as our launching point.
Well, let me just mention that Semana Santa, as we know it, is a very important holiday season in Mexico. Certainly started as a religious issue, but everybody takes the opportunity to go on holidays, and beaches and many places are full of Mexican tourists everywhere. Even Mexicans coming to the Yucatan Peninsula, and thousands and thousands of people. And we are very happy that Belizeans go to Mexico, especially to the Yucatan Peninsula, from Chetumal to Cancun and Merida. And we understand that this year we will have at least some 25,000 Belizeans going to just to the peninsula. Yes. So this is a nice number, and Belizeans are very welcome. We are very happy when we go to Mexico and we see many people who we know here in Belize. It's nice to see Belizeans going to Mexico. About visas, about the requirements, I would like, if you allow me, to pass the microphone to Marbella, who is in charge of consular affairs, and she can tell us exactly.
Okay, thank you. Well, Belizeans holders of passport, they do not need a visa to go to Mexico, any state of Mexico. You are free to go. Other holders or other kind of passports or other nationalities, they might need a visa, so we recommend them to contact our office, and we will let you know. We will let them know if they need a visa or not. Belizeans who doesn't hold a passport, they can have the TBR, the Visitor Regional Card is the TBR. They can get that card at our, well, it's a Mexican INM office at the Subteniente Lopez border. They can get that card for free. The card expires in 5 years. It is easy to get it, actually birth certificate and an ID, and then the crossing the border will be faster because when you show your card, they only scan the barcode and you are free to go into Mexico. But be careful because the card only allows you to stay in Mexico for 7 days. So be careful, don't overdo the time because the card could be revoked. And the card only allows you to go to 4 states at the border area, which are Campeche, Tabasco, Chiapas, and Quintana Roo. So be careful also with Merida. Merida is Yucatan, it's another state. To go to Merida, the TBR doesn't work, but your Belizean passport does.
Excellent.
So that's actually clear. If you're a Belizean, you don't have a passport, you probably lost your passport, and you want to go across for the Easter break. All you need to do is to get to the border, and you do your thing from there. It's free, and you get your card, and you're going into. Oh, wow! I'm excited.
we would like to recommend to get the card, what we call the TBR card, before going to Mexico. So it's not that when you arrive and during these days you try to get it because it will take time.
So
you have to
you
ask
make
for
a
an
special
appointment.
trip to go up there.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about some of the advice that you have for Belizeans when they are in Mexico. We do hear of challenges reported in whether or not there's a driving offense. Oftentimes when they're stopped, not all Belizeans can speak Spanish, and sometimes they surrender driver's license. Sometimes they're asked to pay for it on the spot. What is your advice in terms of being able to deal with these particular situations?
Well, if you allow me, just I would say it's the same rules as it applies to Mexicans. We do abide to the rules. Just be careful when you drive. You have your insurance, which is very important. Even if you don't speak Spanish, in Chetumal and in many cities in the Yucatan Peninsula and Quintana Roo, the authorities are very familiar with Belizeans, and Belizeans are part of the family over there, and Belizeans are very welcome. I would say nothing more than just to have some normal precautions as we do as Mexicans. Again, to be sure that you come with your insurance for any event that you have. I have been in touch with the authorities from Quintana Roo, and they do their best to try to protect and to give a good treatment to everybody in Quintana Roo. And they know that Belizeans tourists are a very important part of tourism in Quintana Roo. You know that during the year, 26% of the hotels are covered by Belizeans. And in these seasons, like in Eastern, there will be 45% in Chetumal of the hotel occupancy. So we know, we are aware that it's very important to take care of Belizeans, that they are happy, that they enjoy their holidays, that they can go to the beaches without any problems, they can go to anywhere, to Tulum, Playa del Carmen, and we really are confident that Belizeans, as all other tourists, are going to enjoy their stay in Mexico and won't face any trouble. But in case that they face any trouble, well, you should know also that you also have honorary consuls from Belize in Chetumal and in Merida. So you always can call your officials. Would be also good to have their telephone numbers. And in any way you can address to the Mexican authorities, who will be willing to help you to help any tourists, any Belizeans. And in case that you have any incident that you want to report to us later on, we are open to that. We don't want Belizeans to have any problems there. We want them to go and to enjoy the vacation, the families to enjoy all the beauties of the Mexican beaches, along the Mexican places, and certainly we are open to receive any complaint in case that there is something, any problem. But again, you have your honorary consuls there. That is also very important, that people know that they can go and look for any support.
Well, Easter is definitely a high time. 25,000. That's a lot of people. But let's talk currency. What's the exchange rate right now? And I think it's very important because I'm sure there are a lot of Belizeans who have already made their plans on going over to Mexico. But what's the exchange rate now, Belize to the peso?
Well, as you know, there is no an official rate between both countries. There is no a convertibility official rate. But what you get at the border, or you get in Chetumal, should be around 8 pesos 30 around. That's what you will get for it's 8.30 for one Belizean. So that's more or less the exchange rate.
Yeah.
Certainly, you are fixed to the US dollar, but between that,
Thursday,
yes.
Yeah. Now, I think obviously, and I appreciate that you spoke about reaching out to the Honorary Council if there are any issues that people encounter, understanding the laws as well when they're driving. I think Belizeans know seatbelts are required in Mexico. You have to follow your traffic regulations and oftentimes speed limits as well. In terms of issues that have come to the embassy, complaints perhaps that have been made, what are some of the avoidable mistakes that Belizean travelers can make when traveling across the border?
Well, I would say the main issue is the insurance.
Yeah.
We don't hear of many issues, and as a matter of fact, honestly, we don't hear about many complaints from Belizeans going to Mexico. I would recommend to Belizeans, as every Mexicans we are used to, if you go on holidays, don't be too ostentatious. So try to be simple, you know, as every person there. That's the only recommendation I would have. I know that there are some incidents that happen in Mexico, like in every country. If you think that we received 39 million in 2017, we received 39 million tourists, international tourists to Mexico. You don't hear from many incidents in Mexico, so it's very few incidents that happen to tourists. So in general terms, I would say it's a very peaceful country, a very peaceful region there, especially in the Yucatan Peninsula, where you can travel with no incidents. You already mentioned, watch out the speed limit, try to drive safely, but that's for everybody, that also for Mexicans is exactly the same thing.
Now, Ambassador, what is the update with the issues that have been taking place in the Riviera? We know there is a warning in Playa del Carmen following the explosive found on the ferry to Cozumel. Talk to us about what has been happening there, what measures have been put in place to ensure safety, especially over this busy period.
Yes, certainly there was some sad incidents there that certainly that we are concerned about them, but again, that was an isolated case in Playa del Carmen, and very strict measures of security were put into place. The federal police has strengthened their presence, and about the warning, there are no warnings anymore from at least from the U.S. I understand from Canada, and the activities are normal from Playa del Carmen to Cozumel. You can go as usual. And you will find a very nice place as you are used to find. So I wouldn't worry much. Certainly, as every person, you always have to be careful. Try not to go to places where there is nobody at night, etc. But this is normal in every place. But again, I am sure that Belizeans will enjoy their stay in Mexico. We are talking about 25 during the season, but we have, in average, around 40,000 Belizeans going to Mexico every month. So we are talking about more than 510,000 a year, just in the Subteniente Lopez and Chactemal bridges, plus the people who go directly from San Pedro to Chetumal by ship, and plus the people who arrive by air. So we have a very nice number of Belizeans or people going from Belize to Mexico. What we are experiencing is that we are seeing a phenomena that international tourists that come to Belize, they try to go to Mexico.
They do a regional travel,
And people, international tourists that arrive to Mexico, they try to come to Belize because Belize is very famous now at international level for their beauties. So this is a nice circuit that both countries we are making the most of it. We are getting benefits from international tourism. I would say it's a complementary tourism, and this is good for both countries. So this is a good situation from the tourism point of view.
Excellent.
Wow.
So any other tips that any of you would like to share to Belizeans who are venturing over the border?
Yeah, like where to get your guacamole?
I was going to say, restaurant recommendations, I don't know.
Enjoy your guacamole with your cheese and your beers, and just take it easy, and you will enjoy it very much. I don't know, Fernanda, I would ask you if you were so kind just to tell something about what Belizeans can and cannot take from Mexico.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Particularly when going to Mexico by car, we know that sometimes the border can be a bit chaotic with with a lot of people trying to cross at the same time. So I think it's very important to consider that you're allowed to have your personal luggage in case that somebody's bringing something else besides the personal luggage that the people from the car, the family, are bringing. It's necessary to declare those merchandises. It's a quite easy process. There are some customs agents there that can help people to do that in case that you're bringing something else. If it's not the case, well, just follow the the customs agents directions, and I think that would be easier. We know that sometimes it's complicated to wait a long time to cross the border, but it's always important to have all the documents, like fill up the forms, yes, and get your passport stamped so you don't have any problem when you're trying to come back to Belize. And we have been seeing that a lot of people also is going to Chetumal and to Cancun to take international flights or connect to another cities in Mexico, or going to Mexico City. We have found in that there's more Belizean citizens traveling to Mexico City. So just always have your passport, your TVR cards with you, and if you're going by car, it's very important to have the insurance, because now it's mandatory for everyone in Mexico to have the third party.
And the usual declarations are important in terms of a certain the 10,000 in cash, and also in some of the products that are being brought over.
Yeah,
right?
I just wanted to touch on that, because while we have these amount of people that will be flocking over there, talk to us about some of the prohibited items that you're not able to take there, of course, and some of the items that you must declare.
Okay, for example, well, obviously any kind of illegal substances are completely forbidden. Sometimes people traveling with the pets. For Mexico, the only pets that are allowed are dogs and cats. There's any other kind of animals that you can cross. If you are crossing the border with another animal,
no pájaro.
No, you need to have to go to Senacica and ask for a special form, and because sometimes this, they don't know if it's maybe a protected species or something.
Yes.
So that's very important. You can cross with up to, I think it's up to 6 liters of alcohol. You can cross with certain amount of cigarettes, in case you want to know the exactly amounts of these products. You can go to the embassy website. We have all the information. It was actually on the screen a few minutes ago. So you can check it, but there are obviously any kind of arms, guns, things like that. Well, obviously that's forbidden, but particularly with animals, I think it's an important topic.
Dogs and cats only.
Dogs and cats. If
and you
it's
still
something
have to have,
else,
your
you
documentation.
Yes,
with
the doctor's certificate that it's in health and everything.
All right. And that's if people want to take their dogs along, because they're really going there to have a great time on the beach.
There are a lot of dog lovers in Belize.
And it's nice. It's nice to have some pets in there.
So obviously, I appreciate how we have discussed some of the things that people can take into consideration when they're traveling over the border. But let's shift now to some of the things happening in Mexico at this time. And you're preparing for your election, and there's some work taking place with the embassy here in ensuring that Mexicans living in Belize can still have their opportunity to vote. Give us an update.
Well, this is a very important year for us. We will go and vote for a new president, for new senators, for new deputies, and we will have some state and municipal elections. So everybody is, interested in politics now in Mexico, and we are in the midst of an electoral process, and you understand what it means. And what the message that we would like to bring is that Mexicans living abroad also have the right to vote. So it's very important that Mexicans know that we have till the next 31st of March to get our ID, to voters ID. So that's the last day that we can request for a voter card.
Yeah.
Invitamos a la comunidad mexicana a que se acerque a la sección consular. It's very important that Mexicans request these voter cards before the 31st of March, and then we do register online to be able to vote in Mexico. Okay. As you can see in the chart, this is our INE card, which, by the way, is the official, the national ID that is accepted all over in Mexico. And once you have this card, or the ones that we already have this card, we just have to go online and ask for the documents that will be sent to Belize, and we will be able to vote from Belize and send the package back. You see, these are the elections that we will have. President of Mexico, 128 senators, 500 representatives, and several Congress elections, and some states where we will have municipal elections. And it's very important that Mexicans do vote, and Mexicans who are in Belize are invited to do it. It's a civic obligation, and hopefully we will receive a lot of votes. So far, we have received all over the world, especially in the United States, where we have the biggest Mexican community, more than 600,000 requests for cards. So you see here how the elections will be from here to July the 1st. The campaigns will be starting very soon, and will be finishing on the June 27th. And the July 1st, we will go on elections day, and we will know a couple of the same day, well, the 2nd of July, we will know who is going to win, and the new president will take over on the 1st of December.
Wow. Are Mexican Belizeans able to get their cards here in Belize as well, or you need to go across to Mexico too?
Everybody who has a Mexican nationality is entitled to get a card and to vote in Mexico. Doesn't matter if it has 2 or 3 or more nationalities. Yes.
Yeah, the consular section is in Belize City, right?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. What do people have to bring to be able to apply for their voters card?
Yes, and they need their original or certified copy of the Mexican birth certificate, an ID, and a proof of address in Belize.
Okay.
That's it, and we receive the applications. We at the embassy receive applications, and the INE, the Instituto Nacional Electoral, by itself, will send the cards directly to the addresses provided by each applicant.
Okay, so it doesn't come back to you. They will get it.
We only receive application and forward to the INE. The INE continues in contact, directly in contact. The follow-up of the applicant has to be with the INE. They will receive the card, and they will receive the package with the actual paper to vote, and send back the package to Mexico, and the package has to arrive before the election day.
And the deadline for that application is March 31st.
And there are two similar processes. One is to get your voter ID, which is the one that the embassy and the consular section is helping. And the other thing is, if you already have your ID, like the three of us that we already have our IDs, you need to go online and register to get the pack with the papers in order to vote.
Okay.
And that's the thing that you need to do at your home. You don't need to go to the embassy to do that. So it's also, and the deadline is also the 31st of March.
So to register to vote, you have to get that. So you have to submit your application for your voter card and also register to vote by March 31st. Yes. All right, that's an important deadline. You don't want to miss it if you're Mexican living in Belize. And don't get too caught up in all the holiday planning and miss it. All right, well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us in terms of the Belizeans who are traveling over, or Mexicans living in Belize, as we close off?
Well, again, we are very happy that Belizeans choose Mexico as the main place for tourism. Belizeans are very welcome in Mexico. And again, I have been in touch with authorities, and they are taking care of all the tourism that is going to Mexico. Yeah. So we are happy that we will receive Belizeans in Mexico. We recommend them to take sun cream because it's going to be nice weather, very, very hot sun. And we wish the Belizeans to enjoy Mexico this season, and always we know that even for us, Chetumal is a very important place to go to have some entertainment, to go shopping. And I hope that this season will be the same. Belizeans will enjoy all the Riviera Maya and even Merida and other parts in Mexico. We would like also to see more Mexicans coming to Belize, and we are seeing an increased number of Mexicans coming to Belize. We just received some information from BTV that 2016 there were 6,000 Mexicans coming to Belize, and 2017 there were 9,000. So we see that there are more Mexicans interested in Belize, and we are also we also know that there are some investments coming to the touristic sector. You know, the Key Chapel has been acquired by a Mexican group, and there will be a big investment, and that will also attract the interest of Mexicans, or more Mexicans coming to Belize. We are also talking to some Mexican airlines that are interested in coming, having a direct flight to Belize. We are working on it. It's not easy, but we hope that we will have it soon. And just to finish, I would say that the relationship between Mexico and Belize is strongest, very, very strong, stronger than ever. And well, the visit of President Peña Nieto was very important, and we are looking forward for Prime Minister to go to Mexico soon. He has been invited by President of Mexico. We are neighbor countries, very friendly neighbor countries, and we will continue working to strengthen this relationship, which is, by the way, very, very strong and very good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming in with us this morning.
Thank you very much for
inviting.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about how to protect your skin over the Easter holidays. That's coming up in a few, so stay tuned.